everyone. Today, pag-uusapan natin ang Module 4, which focuses on the critical shift toward technological integration sa ating gobyerno. I will discuss the topic about e-governance and smart city solutions. While the module focuses on the local governance, these principles are the heartbeat of national agencies. We will look at how moving from analog to digital isn't just a luxury. It's a necessity for security and efficiency. To make this concrete, we will use the Bureau of Immigration as our primary example throughout. Diba, we are living in an era where the private sector has revolutionized how we access services, from booking flights to ordering food. Pero unfortunately, the public sector is often left behind. Kaya today, we'll explore kung bakit kailangan na nating i-close ang gap na ito. How digital tools enhance our efficiency and security, and what the Philippine landscape looks like as we transition to a digital-first approach governance. Uh, for the Bureau of Immigration example, think of it as a vital gateway for the country. Just as a modern city needs an efficient traffic system, BI needs modern tech to handle the massive flow of people securely and smoothly. Next is the urgency for technological adoption. Napansin nyo ba kung bakit we can track a food delivery from down to exact minute? Pero ang pagpaprocess ng isang government document can take days of falling in line. This is the exact disparity we face today. Historically, both of our local and national agencies have relied on fragmented and extremely paper-heavy procedures. Ang nagiging epekto nito, it doesn't just frustrate the citizens, na-exhaust din yung mga civil servants natin. And ultimately, it costs the government more money. Continuing to use the outdated tech, yung mga tinatawag nating legacy systems, is simply no longer viable option kung gusto talaga nating mag-build ng isang responsive government. To illustrate this, let's look again at the Bureau of Immigration. Dati, foreign nationals really had to endure long physical queues sa BI offices just to submit paper forms for things like visa extensions. But what does modernizing actually look like in practice? It means replacing these fragmented in-person steps with seamless online portals. Isang napakagandang example nito is to their shift to annual report virtual online reporting system. By moving this process online, hindi lang natin nababawasan yung frustration ng mga applicants, but we also significantly reduce the heavy workload on our BI frontline officers. Next is three pillars of tech in government. Our module actually outlines three major ways kung paano ito transform ng technology ang government natin. Una, it makes communication practically frictionless. Imbis na ipapasa-pasa ang mga tao between different departments, citizens can now easily report issues or submit applications directly via online portals. Pangalawa, it drastically improves both our efficiency and security. As public administrators, alam natin that keeping our systems updated is our absolute best defense against system failures and cyber attacks. And finally, technology actually helps government agencies retain top talent. And let's be real, nobody wants to work on 20-year-old computer system. By adapting modern tech, we attract dynamic and innovative employees na magpupush sa agency forward. Applying this to our Bureau of Immigration example, in terms of communication, yung paggamit ng BI ng online appointment systems and SMS alerts ensures that travelers are always kept in the loop. And on the innovation side, by adopting modern biometric systems, mas nakaka-attract ang BI ng mga highly skilled IT professionals to work for the government. This is a very strategic move para ma-prevent natin yung brain drain of tech talent going strictly to the private sector. Topic is the hidden dangers of legacy systems. Now, let's talk about security. Gusto kong emphasize na ang paggamit ng old system isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's actually a massive liability. Our module highlights yung 2014 City of Detroit incident, where hackers literally held the city's database for ransom. Bakit nangyari yun? Simply because they were running on a antiquated, unpatched operating system. We have to remember that government agencies hold highly sensitive information mula sa financial records hanggang sa medical data. If a local government fails to invest in proper cybersecurity and modern cloud infrastructure, para na rin nilang iniwanang wide open yung front door natin for data breaches. Let's put this directly into the context of the Bureau of Immigration. The BI holds some of the absolute most sensitive data in the country. Nandyan ang mga passports, travel histories, derogatory records, and biometrics natin. If the BI relies on outdated internal mainframe systems, the stakes become incredibly high. Isang data breach lang wouldn't just be simple IT problem. It could severely compromise our national security and expose the personal identities of millions of travelers. Next is the Philippine ICT landscape and e-governance. Now, zooming into the Philippines, mapapansin natin na our digital economy is really booming, which was heavily accelerated by COVID-19 pandemic. Kaya naman, the government is actively pushing for holistic digital transformation as clearly outlined in the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028. Isang prime example ng mandate na ito is to the creation of eGov PH Super App. The goal here is simple but highly ambitious. Imbes na kailangan pang mag-visit ng citizens natin sa 20 different websites para sa 20 different agencies, the aim is to consolidate both national and local government services into one unified, highly accessible platform. To connect this with our Bureau of Immigration example, nakikita natin itong integration happening right now. For instance, yung pag-check ng status ng Alien Certificate of Registration or yung ACR o kaya yung mandatory na pag-fill out ng e-travel declaration. And these are being integrated directly into unified national platforms like eGov PH Super App. By centralizing these touch points, hindi na pabalik-balik ang mga tao sa iba't ibang portals. Ang ultimate result nito is it makes both travel processes and regulatory compliance completely seamless for the users. Next is legal frameworks and data privacy. Of course, hindi tayo pwede magkaroon ng isang fully functional digital government without strong legal guardrails. Meron tayong mga batas like the Ease of Doing Business Act, which is specifically designed to cut red tape through technology. Pero syempre, as the saying goes, with the great data comes with great responsibility. That is exactly why our module strongly emphasizes the Data Privacy Act. As our government agencies collect more information para maka-deliver ng highly targeted services, they are strictly mandated to appoint data privacy officers, utilize multi-factor authentication, and ensure na yung sensitive citizen information natin is protected from unauthorized access at all times. To see how it works on ground, tingnan natin yung, ulit natin yung Bureau of Immigration. When the BI collects advanced passenger information and biometrics sa mga airport terminals natin, they don't just store it. They must strictly adhere to the Data Privacy Act. Ibig sabihin nito, they need to ensure that this data is heavily encrypted. Kailangan it is only accessed by authorized personnel and definitely not misused for any purposes outside of strict border control. So the modernization doesn't just stop at convenience. It extends to absolute security and compliance. Next is data management and smart governance. Finally, malaki na rin ang nagiging impact ng technology on how the government actually makes decisions. By creating centralized data repositories, yung different departments natin can finally talk to each other, effectively breaking down those traditional silos in the bureaucracy. Furthermore, kapag ginagamit natin ang data analytics, our officials can easily identify trends, allocate resources more efficiently, and even anticipate potential crisis bago pa man mangyari. And of course, when the government shares non-sensitive data through public dashboards, mas nabibuild natin yung culture of trust and transparency with the constituents. To give you a concrete example, let's look at the Bureau of Immigration again. They use centralized data analytics para i-track natin real-time yung entry and exit patterns sa national borders natin. Because of this data, the BI can accurately forecast passenger surge, lalo na kapag peak seasons like Christmas or Holy Week. Ang nagiging result, they can proactively deploy the exact number of immigration officers needed at specific airport terminals. Meaning, naiiwasan natin yung massive bottlenecks sa airports and public service becomes incredibly proactive rather than just reactive. Next is e-governance transforming traditional processes. Now let's look on this topic. Gusto ko lang linawin na this isn't just about having functional government website. It's about fundamentally transforming kung paano talaga na-ooperate ang government natin using information and communication technologies. Basically, e-governance has three main pillars. Una, we have digital service delivery. Ito yung inaalaw natin ang mga citizens, for example, to apply for permits or even pay their taxes completely online. Pangalawa, the building of centralized portals and mobile apps. Ang purpose nito is so people can easily track the status of their request nang hindi na nila kailangan tumawag or pumunta pa physically sa mga government offices. And finally, we have open data initiatives. Dito, non-sensitive government data is proactively made public to promote transparency and allow researchers to find innovative solutions para sa mga civic problems natin. Let's contextualize this using our Bureau of Immigration example again. A perfect application of this e-governance model is the implementation of BI's online portal. Ngayon, foreign nationals can seamlessly update their residential address para sa kanilang annual report or even apply for an Immigration Clearance Certificate or ECC completely online. Dahil sa centralized hub na ito, we are literally replacing the need for thousands of people na pumipila pa physically sa BI main office sa Intramuros every single year. It saves time, it cuts red tape, and it significantly improves the overall service delivery. Next is smart city solutions, the data-driven metropolis. Ngayon, let's move on the smart city solutions. Ito yung nagtitake sa e-governance as a step further. Imbes na nag-digitize lang tayo ng paperwork, a true city uses real-time data to actually improve our physical environment. Lahat ito nag-uumpisa sa matibay na digital infrastructure tulad ng fiber optics and the Internet Things or IoT, kung saan we have sensors placed throughout the city. Yung data na nakukuha natin dito allows for smart mobility. Ibig sabihin, na-optimize natin yung mga traffic lights and public transport to significantly reduce congestion. It also drives environmental sustainability by actively monitoring pollution and energy use. Ultimately, pinagsama-sama nito yung mga citizen engagement apps with advanced security measures to create a safer, more efficient urban living experience. Now, you might be thinking, paano papasok ang Bureau of Immigration dito? Well, while the BI doesn't manage street traffic, they do manage human uh, traffics at our national borders, which are undeniably vital nodes of any smart city. A smart city approach for the BI involves what we call smart borders. Nakikita natin ito ngayon through the use of IoT-enabled biometric e-gates dyan sa NAIA. These e-gates can instantly read passports, scan faces, cross-reference with international security databases, and process passengers in literally seconds, all without manual intervention. It's seamless, highly secure, and perfect example for applied smart technology. Next is implementing digital service delivery. So, paano ba natin ito i-implement in reality? It all starts with highly user-friendly portals. We really need to move away from traditional mindset na requiring physical appearances para sa lahat ng transaction. This means we have to build systems that consistently allow for electronic document submission, seamless digital verification, and most importantly, secure online payment gateways. Kapag ang mga citizens natin can easily apply, track their status in real time, and pay their fees directly from their smartphones, we actively foster transparency, significantly reduce opportunities for corruption, and vastly improve overall public satisfaction. Applying this sa Bureau of Immigration, imagine the impact of allowing foreign workers or tourists to pay their immigration clearance certificates or ECC o kaya naman yung mga visa overstay fines directly via secure online gateways. By integrating platforms like GCash, Maya, or standard credit cards, we are eliminating a massive pain point. Imbes na kailangan pa nila magdala ng large amounts of physical cash para magbayad sa isang immigration office, everything is settled digitally. It's safer for the applicants, easier for the government accountants, and effectively closes the door on the under the table transactions. Utilizing technology for data management and transparency. For our final topic, titingnan natin yung pinaka-backbone of these digital initiatives, data management. Kasi, let's face it, collecting data is completely useless kung nakalock away lang siya in isolated department silos. By creating centralized repositories and properly integrating our systems, our government agencies can finally see the full picture. Pero take note, this isn't not just about internal efficiency. It is also heavily about transparency. Kapag ginagamit ng gobyerno natin ang data analytics to make informed decisions at isi-share nila yung insights na yon through public dashboards and open data platforms, it effectively demystifies our government operations. Of course, kailangan palagi itong nakabalance with the strict data privacy protocols and continuous training para sa mga civil servants natin. This is to ensure na yung digital ecosystem natin remains both secure and highly effective. To picture this, let's look at the Bureau of Immigration one last time. Imagine kung yung arrival ng isang foreign national sa airport, yung visa extension niya sa isang regional office, and their alien registration record were all instantly synced with one centralized repository. This entirely prevents the duplication of files at sobrang mapapabilis yung processing natin. And on the side of transparency, the BI could utilize public dashboards sa website nila that visualize real-time data. Imagine the public being able to see current processing times for different visas or even daily passenger volumes sa major airports natin. Hindi lang ito nakakatulong sa mga travelers to plan better, but it actively fosters public trust in the agency's overall efficiency. These are my references. Thank you.